Alright, Refaction, what's up? Hi, how's it going? Gambit Overlord, guy you're gonna love to hate. So I did record this video concept and idea back in, well, was it Monday or was it Sunday? One of the days. We were playing, we were playing Destiny, we did Final Fantasy, then we went to Destiny. And I thought, you know what, this is now a great time as any to talk about it. I don't know why I grabbed the key. I apologize, I was not trying to do anything. And I have to wait because Destiny's like going through its whole increased traffic crap that it always does. But I thought I'd make this video, well, remake it because I didn't like where I left things, and I felt like I rambled on more than I should have for it. So while Destiny's in this thing, I kind of wanted to take a look if there were any articles made about um, Gambit, because as we know, I'm a Gambit Overlord. So uh, why is that so small? Oh yeah, because I did the wrong thing for it. So let's kind of tweak this. So no, you stupid head. So you know what? I'm just gonna do this on a different one. There we go. That's better. That was from the wheel thing I did like a while ago. So let's talk about this. And the article statement is in fact true. You can't read it because of my stupid face cam. But it says Destiny 2 players demand an update on the future of Gambit. Gambit has been one of Destiny 2's most neglected game modes, and players are now asking Bungie for an update, as the last one came over a year ago. That was during Witch Queen. Players are demanding an update on Gambit because it's. No, I don't want to watch your stupid video. I don't know why you put a video that's not even related to Destiny on this, but okay. Players have voiced their concerns about the future of the game mode, as Bungie has basically been radio silent about changes being made to it. So, Gambit launched in September of 2018 alongside the Forsaken DLC. As we know, the Forsaken DLC kind of changed a lot about how we felt about um, Destiny as a game mode. I mean, that is true. Um, Destiny did make a big change in Forsaken. It changed a lot about how we thought about the game's lore, how we felt about, really just about everything when it came to, what we thought we knew. And opened our eyes into things that, well, kind of make sense now. But with that also came Gambit. Gambit is game mode, for those that aren't aware, that is a PvP, PvE 4v4 mode. It's the only game mode like it in Destiny 2. And then in Season of the Drifter, we got Gambit Prime, which took regular Gambit, which was a 3-round 75 mode only thing. Yes, Gambit used to have an entirely different look back then. Um but the problem came during um season of the whatever it was called. Whatever season we got with Beyond Light, its initial one. So just kind of show that article and say that yes, people do know. But actually let me pull this back up. Um yeah. Uh, Reddit user RPDC called them eventually to provide some sort of update on Gambit. The post pointed out Gambit is currently only played as a one-time pinnacle activity, especially to prepare for a new raid or when a new DLC or season launches. following which there's hardly anyone playing it. The last time Gambit received an update was the launch of Witch Queen, when Bungie tweaked the invasion trigger, heavy economy, and envoy and primeval health. But these changes failed to attract new players to the game mode. Gambit originally launched with 4 maps and got 2 more in the following seasons, although in Beyond Light, those 2 maps were both removed, bringing it back down to 4. It's been 4 years since the new Gambit map was launched and has prompted players to question what's Bungie's plans for the concern. Bungie has been quiet on this. They haven't said a word about all this, besides just tweaking things here and there that don't really do a lot. They've been doing a lot with PvP. They've been doing a lot with PvE. They've done stuff with trials. They do freelances. They have better map rotations, cards, all this stuff, which saw players doing it more. But Gambit hasn't gotten that. So that's the biggest thing. They haven't done a lot with it. And that leads to some problems. I mean, what was this? Let's see. This won't tell me the season. Europa. No. Whatever the season's called for it. I wish it would tell you so you can see. But when Beyond Light came in, we saw substantially a massive change in how we played the game, how we enjoyed the game, and for Gambit players, we were kind of pushed aside. And what I mean by that is we really weren't given anything really fun to do. I mean, a lot of the weapons that we loved using, you know, Hazard of the Cast is a great gun. Breakneck was great. Bygones was amazing. You know, the OG Trust, if you liked, you know, that hand cannon. You know, Spare Rations, if you did frickin' all the stuff in Reckoning. If you were a guy that liked the Pillager, you were good. Sidearms felt great. Bows, if you used Hush, you know, okay. You know, God. Being able to use frickin' the Parcel Stardust or Mindbenders, even though I hate Mindbenders. You know, Python was fun. Last Man Standing. Didn't really have a special grenade launcher. Fusions, more people were probably using Loaded Question and Errantil. Snipers, I mean, back then, you know, we had, you know, you could use Tartar's Gaze, you know, Tranquility, Dread Adventure. Heck, if you really wanted to, use Long Goodbye or Soul Survivor. You know, a lot of people were using different swords to just in case. Honor's Edge, if you wanted to. Striker's Sure Hand. You know, it led to us having fun things. You know, Doomsday, the Edge Transit memes. You know, Bad Omens was always something fun to use. Heck, Sins of the Past I saw people use. You know, linears, I mean, people were probably using things like Crooked Fang, Komodo, a couple Man of Wars every once in a while I saw. Machine guns, I feel like mainly machine guns people were using Hammerhead or 21 Delirium. Those were the two that most people used. But the weapons in Gambit were, of course, good. You know. And heck, we even have a whole thing for Gambit armor. You know, like, these, we only had this. This was the only Gambit armor we had going in to the last season that we knew that Gambit was going to be good. You know, we had all these armors. You know, if you were a collector person, you know, basically someone who your thing was, you got moats, and you could go get like 5 more moats, more than 15, and send this large taken centurion, and it would like tether people. It had, you know, it could do good damage. It could also drain the bank, and you know that was great because it led to a challenge. You know, and then Sentry. You know, you had all that perks. I didn't really go much for Sentry. Um, I was trying to get like an invader set ready and everything, but I was a big Reaper. Oh my god, between Nezarec Sin and Geomag stabilizers, oh, I loved it. I thought it was great. I had so much fun. But now you're kind of almost pigeonholed into this not so fun way of playing Gambit. And for those that were in the stream yesterday, you kind of saw that there were games that just weren't fun. There were games that made just no sense to me, where the team would just absolutely melt their primeval when they got it after us. And we had no one invading because the maps have been so linear for so long now that you can kind of guess where the invaders are going to come from. You have a feeling that you know where the fronts are going to be. You know, a lot of people go, "Well, yeah, you know a lot about Gambit." It's like, yeah, because I learned to play the game mode. I mean, I was an OG freaking player of Gambit when it was released in September. I played it a lot. I always played it with my buddy Inteller. We just played the heck out of it. You know, when the quest dropped for stuff for Gambit, we got it as fast as we could. Even if we didn't like the gun itself, we got the quest done. And to me, it feels that Gambit has just gotten so far off track. You know, it's not this fun 4v4 PvE PvP game mode. It's a game mode you go to get free legendary shards without having to do an AFK farm. That's all it is. That's all Gambit's become. At least now. Now that's all it is. It's a free PV. It's a free legendary farm. Oh, I got legendaries. Okay, dismantle it. Because there's only one good gun, and it's the trust. And to me, I don't like hand cannons, so it's automatically gone. Dismantle. Give me the glimmer. Give me the legendary shards. Give me the rank for Banshee, even though it's not that much. And move on. And I used to be so excited for going into Gambit and being like, yes, I'm gonna get, you know, maybe I'll get a better Last Man Standing or a better Soul Survivor. That way I can use bygones. Because at the time, I was using energy weapons a lot because my special was my sniper. It was either Tranquility or what was it before that? I think I had like a. I think I had something else. I think I had a Dread Adventure. You know, I had. And then I got Revoker. And once I got Revoker, that thing never left my inventory. And I say that because at the time, we really weren't like a endgame PvE clan. We were more of a PvP fuck around clan. So I went to basically never having that leave my inventory. Like, if I didn't have hard light, I was using 9 hunger. Because I very seldom use exotics for my weapon slot. Because to me, there wasn't really a lot of good heavy weapons that I liked to use that were exotic. And same with some of the other stuff. Like back then, legendaries were good and exotics just kind of gave you an edge, but they didn't really have a high edge to them. You know, like if you were using bygones, great. Oh my god. If you were using Tartarus Gaze, great. You know, and when I had a good Tartarus Gaze, I use a bygones or I use a ringing nail. No, not a ringing nail. Oh god, what was the other? It was a pulse rifle. I had to find it. Um, blast furnace. Oh my god, did I love my blast furnace? You know, I had the radiance on it. You know, I had a good roll. Then I would use like Soul Survivor, um, or Atara's Gaze, or Long Goodbye, or a Beloved. And that was the other thing too. Like when we had the OG Beloved, yeah, I used freaking Blast Furnace a lot. If I realized that I had like I needed range, but I still need to deal with someone kind of somewhat close, it was either do Ringing Nail and Revoker, or Blast Furnace and one of those other snipers. So to me, that was what I did, realistically. And I want to say it was probably around. It was probably around when I really got into Gambit more. Um, was after that because I didn't want the game mode to die. I felt that with the changes made in Beyond Light, it really kind of took all your momentum that you had with Gambit. You had Gambit launch, you know, and then, okay, yeah, that's cool. And then we got, Season of the Drifter, Reckoning stuff, all that great. So much fun. Perfect. Gambit was in a great spot. No games felt like you lost like crazy, and if you did, you knew why. And there were a lot of different factors. You know, Sentries didn't really sometimes always take down the stuff. You'd have some people that were trying to do more Reaper things than their other job. Invaders just didn't really feel like they had the right stuff to invade. Collectors kind of weren't trying to go for collecting and staying alive. So everyone's roles kind of wasn't fully being fulfilled in some of your matches, and sometimes that sucked because you're facing people that were on that. This is before we had like the freelance stuff. So if you were playing Gambit solo, you ran the risk of facing a 4-stack. Who's going to use any gun they want and can? Then Shadowkeep came around and we had all that. And we felt that we were having this like, this game mode's going to get something eventually. Maybe it will get, like, if it doesn't get it in some of these coming seasons, it's going to get it in, Beyond Light. That's when we were told about all the sunsetting. The great sunsetting of 2020. No, I'm kidding. It was like 2019. When we were told about it. And that, to me, really, when that happened, it sucked for me as a Destiny player. Because I was in this state of, like, stuff IRL, stuff in my little gaming group of friends I had at the time, and then Destiny being my only solace was becoming less and less fun. I didn't want to go mindlessly into strikes. I didn't want to, just try to sit there and be terrible in PvP. I wanted to play Gambit. And it really felt that Gambit just wasn't going to be fun. Because it wasn't. And then it was kind of around that time that we had all the stuff go on. You know, 2019 into going to 2020, that led to COVID. That hurt a lot of things. IRL, other shit. Well, then I discovered some of the people that I call my friends now. I joined the clan that I'm in now. You saw it yesterday on stream, but I finally got conditional finality. And as someone who isn't really a shotgun guy, I love this thing. You know, I used it a little bit, you know, in comp, and I racked up 21 kills with it. It's a really good good shotgun. But with all that being said, though, for me, I I will honestly tell you, I am not at all prepared to give up on Gambit. And that's kind of the main point of this video. Giving a little brief little introduction, 20 minutes. Kind of rambling again, but to kind of give you an idea of what it is I'm talking about and why I'm bringing all this up, is because Gambit does have a possibility of getting a fix. But it's more or less the case, will Bungie listen? I see a lot of people talk about Gambit, you know, from some content creators to people in the community. They want it to be good, especially now with Destiny really being in this kind of quote unquote bad spot. The season feels kind of dry, even though we're in the season of the deep. There's not a lot for you to chase, especially with them adding on, you know, like certain things, like some certain fun and good content so early into the season. It makes the going on into the later parts of the season kind of bad. But for Gambit, there's a fix, and it's something they've already done with PvP. They've changed this game mode at least twice over Destiny 2's whole thing. It was Trials of the Nine. Then they brought Trials of Osiris. Then they took it away, and then they brought it back. They brought it back, and they've been changing it and working on it and constantly investing into it for a while now. Trials itself, I say, doesn't have a bad matchmaking. I think when you compare the two players' skills, a player that's using, you know, the meta versus a player using an off meta, you really see the difference. If this player is skillful enough with off meta, but this one is only skillful with the meta, and you match them, the meta is going to take over because this is currently what's on top. This is what's doing everything. Whereas this, not really doing a lot. It was enough for that, but against this, you see a distinct difference. Trials for PvP is great. I love when it comes around every weekend. I didn't say I was going to play it this past weekend. I played it for a little bit. Just because, like, you get that itch to want to do something competitively. You know. Like, I wanted to do this. I felt like I couldn't go a weekend without going into this game mode. Now, this weekend's going to be different, because I ain't going to care until I get home. But Gambit needs that. Gambit needs that game mode. They call Gambit a competitive co-op. It's not competitive at all. Yeah, you have moments, but realistically, what's competitive about it? The rewards aren't that good. The rank system isn't that good because it's just a normal vendor reset. That's all it is. Like, you go into Trials or competitive, you have your 2 subdivisions or 2 sub ranks, and then there's the whole Crucible rank thing. You know, when you work up to all those same levels. You know, even Gambit has a lot of those until you get to, as all of them actually, they're all the same. Uh, Brave, heroic, fabled, mythic, legendary, reset, do it again, rinse and repeat. But what about comp? Well, we have our base level, silver, gold, platinum, adept, and ascendant. Huh. An actual competitive system with ranks that you earn. Good. Give that to Gambit. But don't make it a weekly thing. Here's where we go into the trials part of it. Call it something like Path of the Outlaw. You got passages for trials. Trials of Osiris. Bring back Gambit Prime. Call it Gambit Prime. But you have to get a car. You have to go to the bank. You pick up these paths of whatever. Path of the Reaper. Path of the Invader. Path of the Collector. And Path of the Sentry. You have a goal on those to fill. Because this is when it's going to be objective, which is what Gambit is. It's technically an objective-based mode. You have to collect motes, kill ads, boom. There you go. You fill these objectives. For Reapers, kill 60 enemies without dying. Invaders get an army of one in an invasion. Collectors get half banked. Sentries kill like 5 large blockers. Or kill 5 large blockers, or 10 small blockers, or 12 medium blockers. Because then it will count like, okay, if you fill this objective, it goes. But if you happen to kill one, the percentage of those will kind of add up and go into that. So let's say you kill a medium and a small, and then you go over and you get the final blow on a large blocker. Those will add up and move up. That way, there's not people that are just going to go, oh, we're just going to always drop 10, because then the collectors are never going to get anywhere. But here's the other thing about it. You have to win the match. You have to do the objective and win. Because that's the whole point of this. We want people to be able to win the game mode. And you have to do that a couple times. And because Bungie loves 7 so much, it has to be 7 times. So, you win 7 matches, and you have to do this objective. It takes out the unnecessary need of the whole flawless thing. Because to have another game mode where it's like you gotta be flawless in this, I'm sorry, you're not going to be. Because there are times you're going to lose. If you're going to try to go for a flawless Gambit Prime Path of whatever run, more power to you. Good luck. But this is what's going to hurt your matchmaking. To try that. It's going to match you with the card-based system. A card-based system specific to Gambit, where it is it's like you can't play with someone in trials if they don't have a passage. So you have to, if you're playing with people, you'd have to have a passage of whatever, and then they'd have a passage of whatever, and you'd be matched with people that have the other two. Sorry about that. So that's how that would work. Now, for weapons, you would get some of those old guns back. You know, you'd get random rolls on the Python. random rolls on the Doomsday, random rolls on the Last Man Standing. If they didn't do Python, they do Last Man Standing. You could get a Long Goodbye, or a Pillager, or a Dread Adventure. And there's the weapons. You have these weapons already coded into your game. You just need to bring them back. I mean, why not? Bring them back. Do that. Be great. Now, I know I've been talking about this for like a half hour, and I know some of you have probably already clicked off. But if you think this would be a good idea for Gambit, and you would enjoy Gambit having some kind of a competitive S mode, especially if you like playing an objective-based mode, just share the video somewhere. That's all I ask. I'm not gonna ask you to like it. Just share it to people. I think Gambit having this, and they'd be called something, you know, Bygones Outlawed, with certain perks, and it'd be basically an adept. The adept Bygones, the adept Last Man Standing. Actually, no, they can't bring Last Man Standing back. They already have it. The adept Python Outlawed. Because they already brought Last Man Standing back this last season. Which, okay, great. I love the fact that you brought them back, but they're so bad now. I think more people are using like just in case, just because it's a sword. That is the vortex frame. But that's my point. That's all I ask. Share the video. If you want to have guns like this back, if you want to have Gambit be fun again, just share it. Let people know. Thoughts down in the comments. Please don't tell me about the mic. I've already turned up the gain a lot. I know you're already hearing my fan in the background because it is still a temperature that I'm not used to living here on the lake. But with that being said, everyone, Red Faction, I will see you later. I will try to get pictures from GCX on my Twitter, so check the blue bulletin board. If you're in my Discord, pictures will probably go in there as well. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I'm not giving my Instagram link. Just look up my freaking name. It's that simple. So with that being said, everyone, have a good day, and I will see you probably on Sunday if I can make a stream into it, if I'm not too exhausted. Have a good one, everyone.